You're now tuning in to Fatima Bey, the MindShifter. Get ready to shift your thinking and turn it into success.
Hello, and thank you for listening. Today's message is entitled, The Things We Say. Now, given that title, you probably think I'm going to talk about what you should or shouldn't say with your mouth. I'll cover that, but I'm going to talk about something different today. The things we say. Sometimes the ways we communicate aren't just with words. Sometimes when we communicate, we tell people things with our actions, body language. There are other ways of speaking. What things are you saying to the people around you? What things are you saying to your employer? What things are you saying to your friends? The things we say. So sometimes we don't think about it, especially in the professional world. We think because we said some words that we're required to say, or some phrase that we're supposed to be politically correct and say, something we don't even believe in, and it's a bunch of BS, and we have to say it. Well, guess what? When we do that, everybody else knows it. When you're insincere, we can all tell. I don't care how much of a fake smile you put on your face. We can all tell. Sometimes we say things that we don't realize we're saying to others. Oh, this happens a lot. This is why words matter, but we're going to come back around to that. So sometimes we say things with our attitude. For example, you may come across as just negative because the only thing we're hearing from you is complaints. You have some positive thoughts, but you don't express those. You only express the negative ones. So guess what? What you have said to me and others around you is that you're negative. You are someone to be avoided. And you didn't even know that you said that. So you were talking about complaining about something at home or something at work, and maybe it was something legitimate. But what you said, what we heard, was that you're negative. You're negative, you're miserable, whichever. How does that hurt you? Well, when you come across as negative like that, you lose opportunities you never knew you had. Because see, when you have a negative attitude like that, I may be thinking of an opportunity that I'm looking to give to someone, and I have now definitely dismissed you from it because of your negative attitude. And you were talking about the toaster at your house, or your husband's attitude, or your coworker's annoying habit, whatever it was. That's what I heard from you. That's what I got from you. So that's how I perceive you. And then when I have this opportunity and I'm looking for someone to bestow it upon, I'm going to definitely bypass you because you're too negative. The things we say. The thing is, it's not just the exact words that come out of your mouth. It's attitude. Attitude. Your attitude says more than your words. You have a friend. Another example. You have a friend who's really going through something. You make it a point to avoid her because you just don't want to deal with her crap. You don't want to deal with her crying and her emotions and all whatever comes with it. So you just kind of conveniently avoid her. You don't talk to her. You don't call her back. What do you think that says? When you do talk to her, you're like, oh, I was busy, and you explain all the reasons you couldn't talk to her. But your actions have said, I'm not a real friend. Now, I know I just hit a hot button for some of you, and I might have poked at you, but the truth is the truth. The things we say. Your actions really do speak louder than words. It is easy to formulate words that we think you want to hear. It is easy to say whatever we think will satisfy the moment, even if it's completely disconnected from reality and not true at all. Very easy to let words pour out of our mouths. But actions tell the true story. A real friend is there for you through thick and thin. A real friend isn't just going to be there for you through the good times. They're going to help you get through the tough times. So that's what a real friend would do. So your actions, if you're that person that's avoiding conversation because you really truly don't want to deal with it, you're not a really true friend. You don't really care about it that much. The things we say, and that is what you've said. So after she goes through her trial and whatever difficulty she's going through, when it starts to let up and things start to get better, because all of her situations are temporary, usually, whenever her issue clears up, you will see her back away from you because of the things you said with your actions. Again, it's not just what we say with our mouths that speak, it's what we say with our actions. Now here's the kicker. This is why it is important to have our words line up with our actions in every area of life. Now, as Americans, our culture does not teach us to do that. When your words line up with your actions, that's actually called integrity. That is the very definition of integrity. Now, I want to sidebar here and also make sure I say, I don't mean that you had every intent of fulfilling your words and you weren't able to. That is not the same thing. I'm talking about when you give out words with no regard for intention, no regard for filling them out. So if you decide that you want to work on your integrity, and none of us are perfect, and we've all need to work on it. But I will say, as an American, our culture does not value integrity, and that is a problem. That is the reason why we're always thinking that people are full of BS, because we don't value our words. We don't value our words. We'll say, oh yeah, I'll be there, when you know you have no intention to be there. Why lie? Well, we lie because it's comfortable in the moment. But we have no regard for the fact that when you do that repeatedly, what you've said, what you've taught us is that you cannot be relied upon, you cannot be trusted, you have no integrity. I know that's hard for some people to hear, and I know I'm stepping on some toes, but so what? It's true. The things we say. What is it that you, and I really want you to do this. I'm not saying this to pound you down and just, you're judging everyone. No, I'm just telling the truth. And I'm not saying this to beat everyone down, but I do want you to examine yourself, and I do want you to think. If you're listening to me, more than likely, you're interested in being better. You're interested in growth. So if you are not a person who's interested in growth, you really shouldn't be listening to me, because I'm going to piss you off all the time. And I'm okay with that. Because I'm only interested in those who want to change and grow. Now, if you are examining yourself and you find that, wait a minute, I don't truly have integrity. And again, our American culture does not value integrity. Our current culture. Our culture 40 years ago was different. But our current culture, lying is not a big deal. Being fake is not a big deal. There's many other cultures in the world where that is a big deal. If you want people to start trusting you, start looking at what are you saying, and does it really line up with my actions? That's what I want you to admonish you to do today. Examine yourself. Are my words lining up with my actions? Did I just tell someone I'm going to do something so that they'll get out of my face when I have no intention of doing it? I'm going to take that a little step further and a little deeper. Quite frankly, the main reason we do that is because we're cowards. It's a cowardly act to do that, and I'll explain why. The reason it's a cowardly act is because you don't want to deal with their reaction by telling them the truth. But the truth is, you're thinking small because they're tiny. Their little reaction in that moment is not as bad as the reaction later when the words are not kept or fulfilled. And the result of there being no trust in you, of people not taking you serious. Learn how to follow up your actions with your words. Examine yourself. And if I'm talking about you, and I think I'm probably talking about a lot of you. Okay, so if that's where you are, start working on it. Start not saying things that you don't mean, first of all. And second of all, start following up with actions with the things that you're saying. And sometimes maybe you said something and you thought you meant it, and then you realize later, wait a minute, I shouldn't have said that because I don't actually really believe that. Hey, it's okay. We're all learning human beings. Like I said, nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. That's okay. But learn from it and don't repeat it. That's the difference. So I also want you to think about, what are your actions saying? If you never spoke a word, what would people get communicated from you? That's the other piece I want you to think about. What are you saying? Delete or ignore or put on mute all of the words out of your mouth to your coworkers, to your boss, to your children, to your husband, wife, mate, to your friends, to all the different types of people around you. If we were to put you on mute, what would we get? What would we get communicated from you? I want you to think about that. I know I said a whole lot today, but again, I am the MindShifter. I'm here to plant thought seeds, and hopefully those seeds can grow into a better you. And sometimes the seeds I sow don't feel good, and they don't always sound good and fun, but they're necessary. So my hopes are that you listen to this today and you really examine yourself. If I put myself on mute, what am I really saying to those around me? Because whether you recognize what you're saying or not, they are already hearing it. Thank you for listening.
Tune in next week for another segment of Fatima Bey, the MindShifter. For more of her teachings, subscribe to her YouTube channel at Fatima Bey, the MindShifter.